Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll be taking you guys on how to cut a proper kimono dress like this as shown in the video. This kimono dress is for ladies and is also for men also. Is a unisex wear depending on the length you are using. So without much delay, let's proceed to the video. So if you haven't watched my previous video on how to properly take a kimono dashiki dress measurement, do well to watch the video so you can know how to take a proper measurement for this kind of dress. Like I said, this kind of dress is depending on who you are sewing it for. For guys also, because it's a unisex wear, for guys the length is different. So the length can be length 35 or 33 depending on the length of your client or for your customer. But for this, I'm making it for a female. So that is why the length is somehow long. Because for this, we'll be using length 38. So you fold your cloth into 2 layers, then you fold it again, making it 4 layers as shown in the video. Then you rule out your straight line. This straight line that we ruled out first is for we getting a clear edge, not using the rough edge. Then after that, you mention half of an inch as shown in the video. Can you see what I'm doing? You mention half of an inch like this, which is our sewing allowance. Then you rule it out. Then you measure the length. For this kimono, we are not going to be turning the sleeve with an Ankara fabric like the illustration of the video of the first part. This is going to be a normal turn up, so we're not going to be mixing this cloth, but it's also going to have the side pocket, which we are going to be using the same materials, but we're not making use of any Ankara turn up for the sleeve. So then after you measure your length, which is length 38, then you add your folding allowance, which is 2 inches. For this I'm using 2 inches. Then after that, you come here to take your back and sleeve measurement. If you watch the video properly on how to take the measurement of this, you will really understand what I'm doing here. So do well to go and watch the video on how to properly take kimono dashiki measurement. So we take 14, which is 14 of our back and sleeve. Then the round sleeve we are making use of is 14. You divide 14 by 2, making 7 inches. Then you add your 1 inch sewing allowance. So can you see, add your 1 inch sewing allowance that we are going to use it to sew it in. So our round sleeve is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7 plus 1 inch allowance. Then you come down, you mark it also at the down part again. Then after you've done that, you are going to now go to cut for the bust or the chest. So this is what I'm saying. Can you see? We have the part that we are having left is what we are going to use to turn our sleeve. The remaining part is what we are going to use to turn our sleeve. Like I said, we are not turning this one with another fabric. We're just going to fold it inside. So we are using 1 inch allowance to fold the sleeve of this kimono dashiki dress. So then you come down a little bit by measuring your bust. For this bust we are using 41 inches. 41 inches divided by 4 is 10.25. Then you add your 1 inch sewing allowance. Your 1 inch sewing allowance. Then this for this particular dress, I came in with half of an inch, making use of 10 plus 1 inch, so I can have the shape part of this one. Then after you've gotten that, you proceed to the hip measurement. Remember I said making a kimono danshiki, it has to be free. It's not something that is kind of fitted. It has to be free so your client can be able to move his or her body on it. So it has to be free, or let me say yes, a free cut. So then after you connect the lines together and rule it out, then before we are going to cut it. So if you are just seeing my video for the first time, my name is Isoko Joshua. I bring tutorial videos on how to cut, how to sew, anything relating to men wears and fashion in general. So for this video, our pinpoint of this video is how to cut this dashiki kimono for female. So Male also can also use this pattern. You can also use this pattern to cut for a male depending on the length, because men or guys cloth is not as long as this. So if you are using length 36 for it, if you take the measurement or the proper measurement, you can definitely use this pattern to draft or cut it out. You also achieve the same result. So this is me after I've connected all the lines together. What I'm going to do next now is to cut it out. So join me or proceed. Let's proceed as I cut it out like this now. Then after cutting it, you are going to weave both sides or both edges. We are going to weave both edges before we can cut out for our neckline. So after cutting it, we weave both sides before we can now cut for our neckline. Because we have to join the front and the back together to cut for the neckline. So this is me taking my time to cut, and I have to fast the video for a little bit. I have to fast it so that I can really so that the video will not be too long. So this is after cutting it, you have to proceed to join the line. You weave and you join. So for this, I already weave it and I've joined it. And please guys, don't mind my iron because our light here is faulty from the transformer, and we don't know when they will be fixing it. So I'll be making use of my generator, and I'll be going for the local way, which is the charcoal iron. But for me, I use gas iron. So then after, let's cut out our neckline. From the line that we join, which is the half of an inch, you mention 1 inch, that is for the back. You measure 1 inch upward as shown in the video like this. Then from there you measure your neckline length. For this neckline I'm making use of 16, and I already write out the formula of how to get your neckline. And I also make a video on how to get your neck, how to cut the accurate neckline for senator wear, that is for neck piping. But this one we are going to be using an interfacing or a yoke to turn the neck inside. So the formulas are different. To get the length of your neckline, you divide your neck by 4, that is the length of your neckline. Then whatever you get for the length of your neckline, you divide it by 2. For this one, I'm making use of 16 inches. So 16 inches divided by 4 is 4. That is my length. Then 4 divided by 2 is 2, which is my weight, which is the weight of the neck. This is what I draft here as shown in the video. Then after you've gotten that, then you take your French curve, then you rule out the circumference, that is the arc in the neckline at the front part and also at the back part as shown in the video. Can you see what I did? I make a little arc at the back part like this. Then after you've gotten that, then all you need to do is to what? Is to cut out your neck. So take your time and cut it out as shown in the video. So I'm taking my time to explain everything very well. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, do well to subscribe because I'll be dropping video on how to sew this. So don't miss out on how to sew this kind of kimono dress. I'll be dropping the video very soon. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do well or make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn your notification bell so you get notified whenever I drop the video. Then this is the next step is we cutting out the back yoke or the back interfacing that we are going to be using to turn our clothes. And while we are going to turn it, we'll be using half of an inch to make the turning before we make the part that we are going to use to open it. So make sure you subscribe and turn your notification bell so you can get notified when I drop the video on how to sew this kind of kimono dress, so you won't really mix out on it. Then this is me trying to align my fabrics properly well so I can cut out the I can use the neck because I have to use the neck to cut out the back yoke as shown in the video. So you have to take your time properly to make sure everything is aligned very well so that while we are fixing or while we are going to be sewing for the neckline, We're not going to have one part longer than one part, or not having a balanced neck. So then you use the neck that we cut for our dashiki kimono. We use the neck to cut out for the back yoke. Can you see what I'm doing? And guys, make sure if you want to cut it on, make sure you have excess of fabrics. For this one, the back yoke I'm using is kind of small to what I should have used. So if you are making yours, make sure you have a proper, or you have an enough back yoke materials to cut out for the back yoke. So this is what we have. Can you see what? Then we now, well, why we are going to, we are going to sew half of an inch before we make our opening. And after you've cut the back yoke, what you are going to do is you weave all the edges. Make sure you weave all the edges very well, the edges of the yoke. You weave all parts, so to avoid it from pulling. So can you see what we have now? Can you see what I'm doing? So this is what we are going to have before we are going to use half of an inch to sew it round and make our opening. So that is all for this video on how to cut a proper kimono dashiki dress. You can cut it for male and female using this technique. So do well to subscribe, and see you in my next video.